This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up? This is a special message for Matt Berkey. My brother Slava and I would be happy to back you in the match with Nick Airball if you're interested. But we will not be fronting any money. We will not be posting any money for you. I believe you've dealt with our brotherhood in the greater Las Vegas area before, and it would be the same arrangement as then. If you're interested, let me know. We'll send you a DM. We'll send you a WhatsApp link with a disappearing link inside of it, and Roman will be in touch with you. Good luck, brother. And congrats on the new Poker Out Loud coming out soon. What's up?
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, I'm here with my only friends. And you know that includes my boy, Tartu!
What's poppin'?
What's poppin', baby? We got to thank Dankness for that one this morning.
That was great.
That was a good... That was
Delivered
good.
again.
Dankness.
I'm sorry, Slava?
Slava.
Roman?
He's Slava. Roman's his boy.
Don't you dare
sorry.
insult the brotherhood like
Don't
that.
insult Matt's backers.
And they are in the greater area of Las Vegas, so
They are indeed.
you got to stay away.
Well, you know, they have a collective here. They're worldwide, baby. Mr. Worldwide, you know, this is...
So you
305.
So you can go anywhere and play.
Yeah, you goddamn right.
Not that you have to pick up money or anything.
Well,
but-
you know, sometimes moving it becomes a little bit challenging, but we work the back channels.
You gotta stick and
A
move
link
around
within
here.
a link within
Yeah.
a link within a disappearing link.
Sounds safe.
a disappearing WhatsApp link will have everything settled.
I don't even know if that's a thing.
That was so. It is.
It is now.
But it is
I
now.
think it is.
You look mighty professional
I told
today.
him
What's
he looks
going
like
on?
a
You
he
going
looks like
golfing?
a
Look
blinged
professional.
out Captain Jack Sparrow today.
Wow.
He's got the pirate type of.
Powder blue looks really nice on you, Conrad.
Honestly, nobody's ever said something nicer to me, Landon.
Look, man, I'm only here to
so
see you win.
Landon, you don't know how much I love Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow is that's who I am in
That's
life.
my guy.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
That's my guy.
This fictional character and me, we boys now.
Yeah.
Between him and half of
man.
Hank Moody's life, like
I love
those are
Hank
my
Moody.
Those are my people.
I don't know who.
Okay,
Hank
now
Moody
you're
is.
my people.
Wait.
Don't worry about it, Landon.
What? You don't know who Hank? This is what's wrong with your
No,
life.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
He was like
stop everything.
5 when this show came out.
You stop everything and you go find out who Hank Moody
You
is
go
today.
find out right now.
Right now.
Google it.
Are you familiar with the Lonely Island Boys Jack Sparrow song featuring Michael Bolton?
No.
It's the greatest song ever.
Michael Bolton.
It's featuring Michael Bolton. It's fantastic. He sings the chorus the whole way through. It's incredible.
Whopper, don't get us
amazing.
demonetized.
Honestly, no, Whopper, it's a Friday show. Roll that shit.
Oh, man.
Wait. We're not talking about like Island Boy.
No.
No,
It's the
Those
Lonely
are
Boys.
the Island boys.
The Lonely Boys. It's
Lonely Island
It's the
Boys.
Lonely,
Lonely
Island.
Island.
That's what I said.
No,
said
you
the
just
Lonely
said Lonely
Boys.
No, I
Boys.
mean, sorry. In my
Tell
head.
him what you said, Nikki. He's not gonna get out of this one.
No,
We're on
in
the
my
tape.
head. So I said the Lonely Island Boys first, and then he said, no, that's the Island Boys, and then that made me think it's only the Lonely Boys.
Lonely.
Said Lonely Island.
Yeah. No, it's Adam Sandberg.
That's so cool,
Adam
Nikki.
Sandberg, I think.
Andy
Andy
Sandberg.
Sandberg.
Adam. Oh yeah.
Adam
Adam
Sandler.
Sandler.
Andy Sandberg.
Don't mind me. I'm stroking out over here.
It's your old age,
They
man.
both do parody songs.
Yeah.
So it's
They were both on SNL.
Yeah.
They're basically
I mean, they're
replaceable.
pretty
Same
much-
people.
Pretty much the same person at this point.
My favorite Lonely Island song is the one with the cell phone, and he goes, like, your dad's on the phone. He's like, my dad is not a phone.
I threw it on the ground. That's what it was.
Yeah, that one.
That ain't my dad.
Yeah.
That's a cell phone.
It's your dad. My dad is not a phone.
You two have the same sense of humor, don't
do
you?
actually. Landon sent
This
me.
is how I got her back on the show every single week.
You probably
He just sends me enough meme videos throughout the week that I'm like, all right, I'll come back.
And my mom gives you cookies that I still.
Does
Mom,
she?
I have to apologize. Mom, I fucked up.
Landon misrepresented today.
I dropped the ball.
I gave him a birthday gift.
You did. It's right here, actually. She got me a birthday cake.
And it had a candle on it when it came up the stairs.
Where'd that
Blew
go?
out his kids.
I think I might
It's
have
right there. It's right next to you.
Oh, no.
No, literally on the corner of the table.
You like Eric Andre,
Oh,
don't
the other
you?
corner. The other corner.
Who's Eric
There-
Andre?
Oh, I thought you were looking for
Oh
that.
no, I was looking for the candle. So she got me this Squirtle. It's a Squirtle. It's a Squirtle Pokeball. And
Not
I
what
got,
you think it is, guys. Okay.
They know what Pokemon is because they're cultured.
I also was a
You're
little confused.
the geezer.
You poke it and it squirrels. What the fuck, Matt? What do you think it is? It's fucking PG.
Yeah, relax.
Looks
But
like-
I had cookies to give to. I had the cookies to give to Nikki, Mario-themed cookies, because when my mom had ducks on her patio, which have now been removed. RIP
duck-
to the ducks.
Where'd she go? Petunia.
She did.
No,
And Daisy.
Petunia got moved by the neighbors. The neighbors had enough.
Yeah. She got moved to the farm upstate.
The patio got relocated by Slava and Roman. But
she got moved with my puppy from
having,
childhood also.
Having crispy duck
yeah,
for dinner.
so
Your mom has duck eggs again.
yeah, I'm sure she does. My mom's everywhere, but she had these new duck eggs and wanted names for potential new ducks. And Nikki, the first interaction ever that I've had with Nikki was
Yeah.
through my mom's tweet, where Nikki gave her Mario-themed names because Daisy.
Yeah, because
Petunia,
Daisy was already there, so I was like, how about Mario, Luigi, Waluigi?
There's so many characters.
Wario. Yeah, and I just wanted to see a duck named Waluigi, like really to cure my own depression.
and then my mom just responds with, "Landon, what's happening? I'm scared."
She was scared of the duck name.
and ever since, my mom made some cookies for Nikki, which I was supposed to bring in today, and I didn't. I remembered halfway
screwed
on
the
the drive
pooch.
home. I did worse than that.
So I'm
This
leaving.
is-
I'm not staying here.
Nikki Limo, everybody!
I always wondered why Toad was not like a frog, like
Toadstool.
a mushroom.
Oh, that's his name. The little toad guy?
Yeah.
His name's Toadstool.
I
don't know why.
I just know him as Toad.
Yeah.
He is just Toad.
Yeah.
But that out of all of that, a plumber that saves a princess and eats mushrooms and gets big and then shoots fire out of his pockets.
very
You were just
believable.
weird. You're just weirded out by that Toad is like a mushroom. That's the only thing.
Everything else is just
Everything else
flies,
totally
yeah.
cool.
When we look back at all this stuff, because like I know there's like a lot of like cartoon shows and stuff that like have like what they say drug references or whatever in them. Do we think Mario's like
Mario.
Magic
they-
mushrooms.
Are
Eating
they
the
on
mushrooms
shrooms?
and making them. Yeah.
For sure.
Obviously.
For sure.
I got these?
He sees like big flowers shooting fireballs afterwards. He's scared of ghosts in his castle.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, when he goes underground, it's him having a bad trip. When he's up above ground,
I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody that makes these games or like
they're high as
storybooks,
fuck.
they have to be,
Of course they're
right?
fucking high, man.
Have you ever seen Grandma's Boy?
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Oh my god, it's my
What?
favorite.
That is
It's so good.
I haven't
It
seen
really
it
is
either.
good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go watch
The
it.
entire movie is just a bunch of stoners who are video game programmers, like smoking weed.
This really like just like idiot savant video game programmer. He runs out of ideas, so he steals the stoner guy's idea, and like the whole movie is like him proving that he came up with the.
It's an Adam Sandler movie. He's not in it, but it's like all his friends, and he like produces it.
Are you sure it's not Andy Samberg?
It's Adam.
Happy Madison.
Happy
Happy
production.
Madison production.
Yeah.
And we came back around full circle.
Look at us.
See
Look at
that?
us
Yeah.
go.
How to bring a tangent from one place to the other.
Yeah,
Billy Madison is one of the best movies ever made.
Yes.
it's true. Do you think it'd get canceled today?
What?
No.
Is there anything in there? I
I
feel
don't
like
think so.
maybe. I don't know.
No, I mean,
Touch a
he's,
boob? That's assault, brother.
That's a good segue.
Like a lot of the movies that I used to love, I'm like, oh, there's like that one scene they made in
oh yeah,
most
most of our humor from the 90s and early 2000s is very, very cancelable.
Oh, but it's so good though. Like The Office is wonderful.
You know what show I think did like a remarkable job of kind of being like ahead of the times when it comes to progression is Friends.
Don't say hi, how much your mother.
Friends.
No, yeah, like Friends. I feel like did a lot of heavy lifting in like the very, very early 2000s.
They're the ones like everyone's coming down on. Like Gen Z's like, oh, Friends is really unwatchable because
Really?
yeah, they're like homophobic and
No
yeah.
way.
You
Didn't
haven't been
they-
hearing this? It's all discourse
Didn't
right
they
now
have,
about
like-
Friends.
Didn't they have like the first lesbian kiss ever on air?
No, that was.
thought that was Ellen.
Oh, it was Ellen.
That was Ellen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then her show got canceled because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But no, there was Ross's ex-wife was literally gay in the show.
Yeah.
And they had like a lesbian wedding at what, 2001, 2002. This was pretty forward thinking, I would think.
like, well, Jennifer Aniston was just in like the news about how everyone's saying Friends couldn't get made today or something like that because of
Oh my gosh.
Gen Z pulling up clips. And
It's wild. It's
Well, the thing
so,
is, a lot
it's
of,
so
just
soft.
a lot of shows just couldn't get made today.
How is she 54 years old?
She aged remarkably.
You don't get old in Hollywood.
Dude,
That's true.
Elizabeth Hurley looks amazing,
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
and she's got to be.
She might be 60.
Yeah, she's older. She looks great.
You think she's on Ozempic?
She's 57.
Everyone in Hollywood's on Ozempic.
Or adrenochrome. Ooh.
Adrenochrome.
Ooh.
The future.
Do we go to
everything's
conspiracy
chrome.
land here? No, we don't. We
What's
don't do it.
adrenochrome?
You don't know about it? Come on.
Wait, is this the
Now I have to
Melissa
make-
told me about
I
it?
can't
This
just
is like
make a
something
joke.
with
Now we got to go into actual.
this is something with like fetuses or some shit.
Not even. Well, it's like the satanic elite kidnaps kids and
Yeah.
kills them for their blood, and
right.
then they drink this fear based hormone that it gets emitted when they are slaughtered as adrenochrome, and like it's
This
like the
stuff?
hottest drug on the market.
Isn't that
And-
what the Democrats were doing in the
Yeah.
basement of that pizza place?
Yeah,
in-
see,
in
based.
Washington,
Based.
How old is this woman?
Hillary Clinton was drinking baby.
Stop.
Lamana is based.
She,
Lamana.
Lamana.
that's Elizabeth Hurley
That's
now.
Elizabeth
is that a
Hurley. She
real-
just posted this.
That's
No.
really.
She looks
for
like she
her.
came right out of the Austin Powers movie.
Yeah,
She's like
it's crazy.
62.
She's a slave
That's
baddie.
crazy.
She is
She's
57.
62?
She's 57.
57?
57.
Jesus. God bless. Respect to that
Yeah,
woman.
see, you're gonna start dating
Respect.
women like 20 years older than you.
After
instead of 20
today,
years younger.
I'm officially off the market for good. I'm never dating again.
Chalk it up. It's been a good ride. You know, you've had a good
What are you
time.
talking about?
Had a great time.
I'm good. Okay?
It don't look good,
No,
cuz.
is it?
I'm fucking good.
Cuz don't
I'm
look
good. Everybody can go do their thing.
Problem with some exes?
I don't know what you're referring to, and I want to give it no attention, but I'm
You're just
good.
done. You're
I'm
done.
good.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just I'm good.
Careful. If you say that too many times, the universe will test you with like the woman of your dreams.
You know what? Try me.
Yo, universe, bring it on.
Fucking
saying
try
that.
me.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
I
You'll
went,
lose that
I went
profit.
16 years not shitting where I eat, and then one time comes back to bite me in the ass.
All of a sudden, you bump into Elizabeth Hurley at the Resorts World.
Yeah.
Wow. There are exceptions
It's not.
to every
It's not.
rule.
It's not Hurley. It's Nikki Glazer, obviously.
Nikki Glazer, yes.
I'm kind of over Nikki Glazer.
Wow. What happened there?
The pandemic ended.
He got tired of spanking off to Lamana's face.
Right. And that's our show, everybody. Thanks for showing up.
You started this, Ryan.
Imagine thinking he looks like Nikki Glazer. No,
That's the issue.
yeah, come on, give me a little
Did you
credit.
put a wig on? Let me see.
I did just, I did shave a little bit.
She
today.
had like a
Down.
daily show during the pandemic. It was on SiriusXM and then on YouTube as well. And it was remarkable. It was so good. It was like a daily variety show. Her and like a couple of her comic friends, and they would always have guests on. And like I just found it to be so entertaining. I think she's so funny and attractive and everything else. And then the pandemic ended, and she just like stopped making content. And then got a
happens.
boyfriend. And it's just like
That's really
I'm kind of
what it
over
was.
this.
Nikki Glazer's back. Guapo had the camera on us. We could show you.
I saw the picture. She's hot, but whatever. I moved on.
See that, Brian?
Just like I
Still
moved on
hope.
from Katie Holmes whenever I was in high school.
Yeah, once she started dating Tom Cruise.
Yeah, she went crazy.
The hands of time march on.
I still
Just the thought of her with him just ruins the whole, Joey Pacey.
yeah, no, that's
Or not-
dead.
or,
That's totally dead.
Dawson Pacey thing.
I don't even know about all this stuff.
I
Too much.
I still carry a bit of a flame for Nicole Scherzinger.
Schlesinger?
Scherzinger. Nicole
Scherzinger.
Scherzinger.
Pussycat Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were in Florida? Were you with Emma and I when we played buttons in the car?
Probably.
Oh,
What's,
my God.
what's buttons in the car?
You gotta loosen up your buttons, baby.
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Oh.
Yeah, no, Emma, a friend of mine was just in the car on the way to play a satellite, and we had that song going, so it just reminded me of that because we talked about the Pussycat Dolls blow up.
Was there
people's
really a
faces.
globe, or was it just Nicole?
I just be Nicole.
I mean, I don't know anyone else who was in that group. Pretty sure that they just gave her backup singers.
They're iconic. Were they like they were kind of like the first kind of pop girl band?
What are you talking about?
You ever heard of the Spice Girls?
Oh, were they first and then the second?
Oh, he's so young.
And then there's Destiny's Child.
I also doubt
There's
that
so
TLC?
many iconic girl groups in between Spice
Yeah.
Girls
Yeah.
and
Listen,
and,
my life-
Pussycat.
Left
Dolls.
Eye-
Life only started when I then was born because I didn't know anything else existed, right?
Left
I
Eye
believe
burned
that.
her boyfriend's house down before fucking.
Andre Rison, baby. Andre Rison.
Wait, what happened?
Yeah.
Wait, what now?
Left Eye burned Andre Rison's house down.
Yeah. TLC.
TLC.
I mean, Brian burned down the
R.I.P.
woods in his house.
Not my house.
Same
Just the
thing.
one.
Just the woods.
Well, Left Eye was an influencer.
That's right. She was.
Marcin influencer.
Hey.
R.I.P. to Left Eye.
Yeah.
Her and Aaliyah gone too soon.
This was all before Landon was born.
Yeah, that's true. It
Crazy.
really was.
Unbelievable. So much stuff happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like as if there were centuries of this earth prior to your existence.
Yeah, Nick and I talked about this. We talked about like how influential Jesus was. You know, that he literally changed time after him.
He did.
BCE and AD.
Yeah, time is labeled after his birth or his death.
It's gonna be like when you leave the poker community, Matt. It's gonna be before and after Matt in the poker community.
You know, I
You're the
would-
martyr of this
PM.
community.
I would go
Matt.
ahead and bet against that one. Twitter might take a bit of a hit for a little while, but well, I don't really know. What else do we have to talk about? Can we move on?
This is it.
This show's over.
What were we just
We're
talking
all gonna
about?
delete our Twitters.
You have a new venture
I do with
in this
Caitlin.
space. We've talked about it a bit, but you finally
Yeah,
dropped.
we had a really smooth rollout on this show last week, so I was like really happy about that. Found like a pickleball site and
Sure.
a Nazi channel, but yeah, that day was the day that we filmed at Sulphur Y downstairs with Brad Owen and Andrew Nemi and Melissa Schubert, shout out, and Nigel.
Nigel.
Melissa's part was actually like really great
Yeah,
in there.
it was fun.
It was really funny.
It was so fun. Yeah.
My workout.
So Caitlin and I are starting a podcast, but we did a sketch asking permission to do poker content first. And so we really love doing sketches and bits and more scripted little stuff like this, but it's just not as sustainable to do weekly. Like when you're starting a new channel, you should really be uploading once a week at least, like very consistently, and doing a sketch a week, especially with her living in a different state, would be kind of unsustainable. But we love doing them, like the idea of doing them like once a month or like in between podcast episodes, just to have fun with different people in the poker community, see them play roles that they may have never played before. You know, Andrew and Brad are almost unrecognizable in the characters that we cast them as. And it was really fun getting to like play with everybody and get them out of their comfort zone. Like Brad's terrified of snakes and he had Nigel on his neck for like 2 minutes. So it was just really fun to get to play, and they did a great job. Like both of them were just so excellent at taking the character and running with it and committing to it. We're like, hey, could you do this more grisly? And they just like went with it, and it was really, really fun.
Camera work's pretty sick too.
Yeah, so shout out to Larry Susan. He does a lot of work with the WPT, and I actually met him last year at Punter's Pad, the ACR house that ACR has. Any pros that ACR has that don't live in Vegas, they rent out a big like Airbnb house, like a huge mansion house with like a bowling alley and like all kinds of shit in there. And they house all their people and they make content. And so they did this thing called Punter Olympics last year. And Larry was doing all the camera work and all the stuff for their scripted content. And we kept in touch. And it is so hard to find camera people in Vegas. I didn't realize because I've been so spoiled living in LA. Like I can
everywhere.
Yeah, and like I have like a list where like at any second I could be like, oh, I want to film a sketch today, and like I could have like 5 camera guys right there. And here it was like, oh my god, like I didn't realize the scarcity of people that can operate a camera. And so luckily he popped up on my Twitter timeline. I was like, oh yeah, Larry or Susan. He goes by Susan. And
long hair, blonde hair kid.
Yes,
I like this guy.
Susan.
I see him all the time. Yeah,
Susan's fucking epic. He's great. And so this was my first time working with him on like my own project. But he did all the camera and the sound, and it was great. Awesome.
It was as somebody who's vlogged in the past, and I'm around production all the time. It was impressive knowing that you guys are like a skeleton crew.
Yeah.
And that this is kind of being edited by one person, filmed by another person, and you're not exactly dealing with longtime actors.
No, yeah, and also we only had everyone for maybe like 2 hours, and to do like a 5-minute sketch can take. You could spend all day, maybe even 2 days on doing like a 5-minute sketch if you really wanted to go full out, fully produced with a whole crew. But yeah, we had 2 hours, about 2.5 hours to get everything shot and set up your place downstairs to look like it could be like a mafia den, which actually the industrialness like really helped.
Yeah.
It looked really good, I thought. And you can notice Solve for Why poker chips that Nigel goes over.
You guys did a great job of making it look like a low rent rap video.
Exactly.
Really good.
You're going for it.
You
Yeah.
can help us with Tortoise in the Main.
I could.
You know,
I don't know what that is, but I could.
You most certainly could.
I like how I commit right away without knowing.
That's because you know
So easy.
what I'm gonna pitch you. You're going to enjoy. You know what I mean?
Probably.
We have the same kind of humor.
We do. Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't want to commit to that too much, but yes.
Anyways, we have this idea of having a music video for Brian for the main event.
Okay.
Because out of nowhere we said we should get the tortoise in the main, and then Brian and I turned it into like a song where it's like tortoise in the main. It's the tortoise in the main, and it keeps going. So now we need to make a music video. We have to hype it up, get the intro going, get sketches going. Brian walks into the World Series.
Yeah.
Acting all cool. We basically one up Phil Hellmuth's WSOP main event entrance.
Gotcha.
With Brian LaManna.
Okay.
Are you in?
I maybe. A hard maybe.
A hard maybe.
Damn it.
I will be around. Hey, I don't know how to music produce. That's the only thing. I come up with music video ideas all the time in my head, but I don't know how to make any music. So
how do we do it? Who do we find?
If you go find out, I don't know. Whenever I want to do something, I just you have to be resourceful.
We got Hoodie Allen on the
There you go.
on the hook.
Yeah, use your connections.
Yeah, he's on the hook.
I'm trying to use you.
I edit. I can edit. I can produce, but I can't. I don't know. I can't do music stuff. So if you get the song, I can put together.
We're gonna have
produce
to
the music video.
Actually, record the song first. We need to get in the recording studio.
Like if you can record a song first, I know how to produce a video, but I can't do the song part.
We need the music video part.
Well, okay, get the song done first.
You're in for the music video.
You can't do the video part first.
Yeah, kind of need the song first.
Right.
Yeah. So, hard maybe. Get back to me.
I'm a cart before the horse type of person.
The song's almost done. We got Tortoise in the Main.
So you're an ideas guy, Landon.
Brian walks into the series and VPIP 7% for 8 hours. 7%. He's playing loose that day. The song adds 2% to his VPIP easy.
I don't want to,
The
step
sixth
out of
storyline
line here.
Yeah.
Gotta be on brand.
Love it.
So what is the plan as far as release schedule goes? I know you guys are making more of these sketches, but you're going to mainly be a podcast.
So mostly it's going to be a podcast.
You're going to try to steal our award.
Everyone,
Exactly.
lower
That's
their fucking
that's
expectations.
Immediately what I thought. I'm like,
Well, I don't
guess we're not winning
have
back-to-back.
enough friends to steal your podcast idea. So
No,
it's-
just our award.
Just the award.
the award.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely stealing an award.
Yeah, okay,
for
that's
sure,
fine.
for sure,
It's
for
locked
sure.
up.
I don't know if you know this, but one of us won an award also. Maybe not me, but one of us involved in the duo did win her own GPI award.
It's a team award now.
Shout out to Caitlin Komeski. So it's mostly going to be a podcast. And we have like fun games and stuff, like putting poker people, like people from the community, into spots that they don't normally get involved in, like putting them in like fun games, like when we all played a game on this one. I almost call it Solve for Why because everything's
That's fine. Brand it.
Brand
Let's
it,
go.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna make
But
them,
only
like,
friends.
do a normal job, like go to an office 9 to 5 for a week.
That sounds like a nightmare. I would do it if
That's
I could.
something that poker players are very.
If I could vlog it.
A poker player gets a
that
real
is
job.
out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, that is not something I have experience with.
No.
But putting them in like more fun party games, and we have serious conversations with them and interviews. But
with them, you make them seem like a sideshow.
with them.
With them.
These little creatures I have on the side over here.
We just talk to them.
Dance puppets.
How am I supposed to talk? The people of the poker community.
I mean, they are creatures. We
They
are
yeah,
creatures. Right?
to be to be messed with, to
be
be experimented on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you?
Yeah, like what if we put them in this situation?
Yeah, what if you make a poker
Have you
player
filmed any
have-
podcasts yet?
We did. So when Caitlin was out last time, we just did a week of straight filming, and we filmed about 6 episodes of, well, it was 5 episodes of the podcast and then the sketch. So 6 weeks of content. And hopefully what we're hoping is she comes out and stays here for the series, and we'll get a lot more filming done. We have a lot of like man on the street bits that we want to do. We want to add some shorts to like in between episodes.
I love shorts.
Yeah. Do you?
I love 5-inch inseams. Yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
Heard this about you.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to a pun.
Mm-hmm.
It's ahead of you. But yeah, there's not really a big content.
I see
plan.
why you're a cat lady. Dangle the fucking mouse on the string.
Exactly.
Yeah, podcast.
Where were we? Yeah. Treats. Yeah, so I don't know. The first week she was out here, we brainstormed a lot of stuff that we're both really into, excited about. We pitched each other like a lot of similar ideas. We had like, it's kind of freaky how similar our ideas were that were written down on paper. So immediately we knew we could work together. And now it was just about like taking all those ideas and putting them into like a show that we could feasibly do consistently, sustainably, be able to block shoot a bunch of content at one time since she lives in a different state. And also have fun with it, like do something different. So yeah, it's at its baby stage right now, but the first week we did a lot of marketing, like putting together photos, like did a professional photo shoot and putting together a schedule and scripting out a lot of stuff and kind of getting like loose commitments from guests and that we could cast later. And then she came out 2 weeks later and we actually block shooted everything. And so that was last week. And this week was our launch on Wednesday. And we were like nervous, but also excited. There's a lot of those feelings of, you know, you're starting something new. When you guys started this podcast, you probably had like similar feelings of like, this could
Not at
flop.
all.
I don't know.
No,
but
we're just turning the
what
camera
did you?
on.
Yeah, no.
No, turn
We
the
didn't
camera
do
on.
no professional.
We actually turned the camera on
Photography.
and then turned it off for our first episode because it was that bad.
I believe that.
And then we kept going.
It wasn't bad. It was just,
That's the good part.
It wasn't bad. It was our lawyer friend over here, Mr. Conrad Simpson, gave us some bad information.
I did not. I
Oh.
gave you some information, and then you took it for as it was that person.
We could not.
We didn't want to
release that
start off the
episode.
podcast.
So there's
with
a
just
secret
false
episode out there?
information.
Yeah.
There's 2 of them.
It's actually not out there.
There's 2
Yeah,
secret episodes.
There's
Well,
another one where I lost
it
a
is out
bet.
there on a hard drive somewhere.
No, it's on our YouTube. It's just private.
See?
There's another episode where I lost a prop bet to Melissa, and we had a drag makeup artist come in and put me in full drag, and then we
That's
decided
fun.
that it probably shouldn't get released
Why?
because of poker Twitter and the culture we live in. It's just like it's not. I don't know. It's too scandalous, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or
I mean,
too-
I think there's a
too
way to do
insensitive,
it where
maybe.
it's if you guys were like, you know, roasting the drag community the whole time, that would be bad.
No, it was the opposite.
No.
I actually
Yeah.
I actually interviewed the makeup artist for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, I don't know if you've heard of like Rhett and Link or okay, they do a podcast, Mythical Morning podcast. It's like a radio show, but podcast every day. Anyway, they're like super progressive, and they just did like one where Link turned into a drag queen, and it was like a whole like the drag queens like really talked about their community and stuff, and it was really I don't know, it was positive. I think that you could have done,
Yeah.
but okay,
It was
I
dicey.
understand. It was dicey.
I just
All right.
I'm probably just not the person. Like I think there's too many people who are excited at the idea of
Seeing you in drag.
just like roasting me at the stake for anything that's like even remotely controversial.
I see. Yeah, that does happen on Twitter especially.
Yeah, the Twitter space.
Twitter's a very special place.
It's a dark.
I actually left Twitter for a good year and a half because it's a very angry place
Yeah.
to be. I think people go there to like get their anger fix because they don't get to release it in normal life. So behind a screen, it's
So
like
you're-
way easier.
You're
to,
back to the pit of despair.
And then you
I
came back
am.
and said, I love poker Twitter. You
I
guys are so
do.
cute.
I actually really love poker Twitter. When I first moved to Vegas, I was still like not on Twitter at all. But then I started going on there. I forget why. I think it was just a post about WSOP or something. But yeah, I like for some reason their algorithm figured out that I liked reading poker tweets, and so a bunch of you started popping up on my timeline. That's actually how I found all of you, was just like from like I wasn't following anyone, you just randomly popped up on my timeline. Landon's mom's asking about duck names. I'm like, I don't know who this guy is, but I got duck names, so here you go. And then I just got sucked into all of your timelines of like the little beefs and dramas that you have, and I think it's fun. It's like not it's not too heavy. It's like just enough that it's like spicy, but not like real life heavy. Like no one's getting like murdered or whatever. It's just like really light poker beef that people get all jazzed about.
It's not like political Twitter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's
gets
not like
really
real, like
contentious.
I can't even imagine other parts of Twitter outside of poker Twitter. It all seems like so much anger.
You don't want to. It's so angry, and it's so like polarizing, and it's just gross out there. But yeah, poker Twitter drama is like, it's like watching a little soap opera. It's fun. Like I know all the characters now. I'm invested. They've got such different personalities. I like seeing them interact.
It does seem like a great time for content.
Yeah, it is a great time for content. So I wasn't going to ever do poker content.
But here we are.
Here we are.
I'm unretired.
I'm unretired. I do have a poker like Twitch stream, but it's like, whatever. It's just me practicing MTT stuff. But
it's fun. I was in there once.
Yeah, you were. That was fun.
Yeah.
And then, but with like Caitlin having such a strong background in the same type of comedy, like improv, sketch, all that stuff, it was just really easy to connect with her because she follows everyone in the poker community too. So we get tickled by the same things. Yeah. And so it's easy to like work together and make content about that because we both want to talk about the same things in the same way where we don't take sides. We're not really like hard stance, hard opinion, gonna fight for like change in any way. We just kind of express each side's viewpoint comedically.
You're just here for the memes.
Yeah, here for the memes.
Yeah,
me too.
And I think it's fun. I think it's a healthy way to take hot topic issues and make them more light and fun.
How much of a silver platter would you say that we're just serving this up to you guys on?
It's so shiny. so shiny.
I mean, it does really
polish.
seem like every day that I think it's just going to finally quell a bit and calm down.
Well, what's so funny is that like our first sketch was going to be with you and everyone here. Caitlin had written this sketch about making you the center of drama, but this was back in early March before you actually were the center of drama.
Yeah.
She manifested it.
I feel like she just hadn't been around long enough. Like I always seem to find my way to get my head on the chopping block at some point in time.
But the way we were going to do it was way funnier than the way that it happened in real life. Yeah, it was way funnier than like a heads up battle. Boring.
Yeah.
Boo.
Lame.
Boo.
Boo.
Boring.
We're still going to do that sketch, by the way, but hey, stay tuned. Go subscribe over at Ace Holes Pod, at Ace Holes
Pod. Okay.
I think if you Google search it or if you like YouTube search it now, things do pop up. We just didn't have SEO before.
Let's not try it.
But don't try it. That was very messy.
I tried it. You still need the @ symbol.
No, you do need the @ symbol, but now if you put Ace Holes Pod or like Ace Holes Caitlin or Ace Holes Poker, like it comes up in the search.
Let's not try it. I'm scared.
I don't want you to, but they can out there.
The comfort of their own home.
Yeah.
I just searched Ace Holes Pod with no @ symbol, and I have to tell you.
Ace Holes Poker.
I have to tell you.
Ace Holes Podcast.
Everything that comes up.
Keep going, Nikki. Keep going.
Everything that comes up has the name asshole in it.
Maybe.
I actually come up.
Well, there you go.
Before your podcast.
At least that comes up.
Is it too late?
An episode of the Only Friends podcast comes up in the top 15, top 10.
Put Ace Holes Poker.
Why
are you so bad at YouTube search?
Oh, if you make it all one word though, you come up. You're the first hit.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right.
If you make it Ace Holes Pod, all one word.
We're in the algorithm.
You're in the algo.
Somewhere in there, deep down.
What's your expectation for this? Call it 3 months, 6 months, 12 months.
I don't know. I don't like to put that kind of pressure on because I feel like when you focus too much on numbers or that type of thing, like it creates a bad product. I think if you just focus on having fun with what you're doing and like creating something that you actually enjoy, like the numbers and the stuff that the other stuff follows. I feel the same way about poker. Like when people get too like into the money and not like the fun of of getting better at the game, or like, you know, having fun with like actually being there and solving spots, like I think that's how you become a Mizreg. So as an old YouTuber, like has been around a lot of Miz YouTubers, I get inspired by more of like creating fun stuff. And I think that there's like a lot of fun stuff, especially coming up with the series. So my expectations of 3 months are less to do with like growth and more to do with like what kind of content can we mine and pull out that really hasn't been done yet. Too much in the poker community. I think there's a lot of fun man on the street stuff that we can do. I think there's a lot of fun stuff at a Poker Night in America. We got to go over there and like do the rehearsal night, and they have like a huge mansion house with different rooms and pools and a bartender and all kinds of stuff. And we were talking to them about filming stuff there. And so there's a lot of like directions we can go. And so it's just going to be about what's the most fun and what's the most like, what do we think people will want to watch that is also really fun for us to make, and keeping it fun like that. But yeah, I don't know. And I kind of like it, like not knowing, like not really having like we have to do X or else we failed.
Let me reframe the question a bit and still hold your feet to the fire a bit.
Okay.
Do you think it's possible in today's landscape to do this and make enough money where you'd be happy?
Oh, so you're talking about money.
Well, I wasn't specifically, when I was saying expectations, I was like, you gave a good answer.
Oh, okay.
But now I'm talking
There's
about
a lot
money.
of different metrics that people gauge success by, like how many views are you getting, how many subscribers, how much money. Those are all very different things. It takes a lot of time in the content world to build a new channel from scratch and then get it. I think people don't realize like how long you have to go, like be consistent before you're actually making like a decent amount of money. For me, and this was back in like 2011 or something, like I made my first $100 after getting 120,000 subscribers and getting like a minimum, 15 to 20,000 views per video. That was like my first like couple $100, and I was like really excited about it. The landscape has changed a lot where you can get sponsors and like there's more monetization opportunities, merch, sponsors.
Help us.
I'm trying, but like, I think that you have to be really smart about how you build it first. And I don't think you really have, before you start thinking about money, I think I'm very like product first and like creating something that I really love first, and then going on and be like, hey, here's my baby and I think it's worth this much. Like and then you can find different ways of monetizing. But it has to really come from that consistency and the strong desire to create content and like what you're doing. So for it to, that's a loaded question of like how much would I have to make for it to be worth it, because the worth for me is more in creating a solid product. And then the money, like I don't want to like be broke trying to like make a solid product. Like we're very low to no budget right now, but we're creating stuff like even without a budget right now. And so adding that is only going to make the product better. But having like the solid baseline, I think, is the most important. And I think both Caitlin and I are like, let's check back in 6 months. Let's see, like, is it still worth it for us to keep going? Is it something that we really love and believe in? Is it something that's generating enough like enthusiasm that it's worth it to keep going, even if we're only generating this much income? But I think right now it's like, when you're in the very beginning stages, and I say this to everyone that is like, hey, how do I start a YouTube channel? Or like, how do I get X amount of followers? They're focusing on the wrong thing. Like you have to first like really focus on something that you want to share with the world. That's something that you're good at and that you can stay passionate about for many months on end without getting paid. that's the key to like really creating something that's eventually going to blow up. Because if you can't go that long, or if it's something that you're like, only if I make X amount of money in 6 months can I keep going, then you might stop right before you explode. The internet is so weird like that, where like you can go 6 months with getting like 100 views per video, and then all of a sudden a video that you did 3 months ago blows up and a bunch of people are finding your channel, but you quit because you were like, oh, this doesn't work. Yeah. And so you really can't judge based off of metrics like that. If you're going to create, you really have to go to the foundation of that word of being a creator, of like really being in it for the joy of creating, and trusting that if you're putting out a solid product in the world, like you're going to eventually make money from it, or be able to like sustain it in a way that's like feasible for you to keep going.
Yeah.
There's no commitment, right? You just do it, you find it fun, and then if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, no big deal. But it's not about having these metrics in place that you need to hit, or else it's a failure.
Absolutely. And I think that I would approach poker the same way for anybody that's like, I want to quit my job and play poker. It's the same thing for content creation. I want to quit my job and do content creation. Okay, well, you're going to be a lot more pressured to like monetarily succeed rather than like doing it for the fun of doing it and like getting good at something. I would instead advise people to keep their job and get really good at doing this on the side. And then like that way you're good at what you do first and without having to worry about where money is coming from. And then once you kind of get it and like you're starting to get some cash flow, then you can start like putting more time into this side thing and maybe letting go of your regular job, because you know that the money is coming in or that things are flowing, and like you have a system in place like where it's not so like panic mode if a video doesn't hit the way it was supposed to hit, or like whatever, because people get caught in that trap where they quit their stuff too early, and then they're just so the energy turns more desperate rather than like the fun and like the building and the creating process.
It's kind of the cool thing about starting young when you do some new things, because you don't need as much money.
So much easier to start young.
You don't need money to do anything.
You don't have dependents. You don't have to worry about a mortgage.
I didn't pay rent for the first year living at my mom's place, trying to figure out to make poker work.
Cherish it.
I made like no money, and all I did was get good at poker because I had time to do that.
Exactly.
But if I had other things to worry about, like a job or like other bills to pay, no shot.
Why do you think so many old people like they're like, I blew it when I was young? Honestly, I don't think you're ever too old to do this. It's just that you get stuck in this mindset that's become a habit. Yeah, it's just you got to really change your habits when you're older to like reverse your thinking into not being so attached to like your responsibilities that you have, like your obligations, this whole like limiting life that you've created. A lot of people create by the time they're in like their 30s is like this they have a family to feed, they have a wife, so it's not, the stakes are much higher if they fail at something new than if they're 18 years old.
Yeah, I guess I was speaking I
went into a whole different land.
No, it's fine. I attached a dollar amount to it, but I guess what I was really asking is like, do you think that the ceiling is low in this space, or do you think that it's actually kind of ripe for the picking and possibly can flourish?
That, personally, I wouldn't be interested if it wasn't. If I didn't think it was in just the right place. I think that the community is constantly growing, especially thanks to all these poker vloggers like Rampage and Brad and Andrew and all these new poker vloggers that are popping up. It's bringing a lot more people into the space. And when you have poker influencers like that, you're now at the perfect breeding ground for this content generation to pop up where people will understand the jokes, because now they're like getting more into the game and they're not just seeing it as something that they play with their family on Easter or whatever, like on their get-togethers. Now it's like you got this whole new generation that maybe they don't know perfect solver charts, and they won't be able to follow along if you're talking too much about 3-bet and 4-bet positions and stack depth and SPR and stuff, but they get the game enough and they understand the world enough, and they like the funness of it. I was talking to someone from poker.org, shout out to Mo. He was interviewing us and he asked kind of a similar question, like, you're going, for me, I'm going from something more general to something way more niche. And like, is that a mistake? And I don't think it is in the content world. The YouTube algorithm has changed so much that if you were to start a YouTube channel today, you're better off going niche than you are going broad, because you're going to find an audience that's way more dedicated, that understands what you do more, that is like there for the same interests as you. And then you can expand from there. Have you ever watched the show Portlandia?
No, I've heard of it though.
You've heard it, okay. Well, in that, the show's all about like making fun of, like making memes of Portland culture, right? I've never been to Portland, but I fucking love that show because you don't really have to have gone to Portland to understand like the jokes that they're making in the meme. They set up the characters so perfectly. And I think the same way about the poker community is like, you don't really have to know all that much about the mathematics of poker and the having a balanced range or any of the intricacies. But if you know just like the gist of the game and kind of the types of people in the world, like you can watch poker content.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of what Caitlin and I are tapping into with, and involving people in the actual poker community, because we are genuinely interested in everyone as people and like the way they operate their life. I think Alan Kessler is like one of the most interesting people. I really want him to be on. Alan, you have an open invitation to be on the show. I really cannot wait. I love him.
Oh my goodness! Just bring chicken tenders; you'll be fine.
Like people,
plain oatmeal.
There's Caitlin was talking about this in the interview as well. Like the poker community attracts, like you're playing a game that is some is considered degenerate, like in the outside world. To some, it's mathematical and like very systematic. But like you attract so many different types of characters that are all living in the same world, playing the same game. And I think that's what's so interesting and unique about this community. And so those types of like extremes of people are really fun to like see interact with each other, and it happens at the tables all the time. And I always said this before, was that like I wish like I could vlog the interactions at the tables more so than the hand histories. Like the fun of seeing these different types of people interact is so much more interesting to me than the actual like game itself. In some ways,
I think that's where TV poker has always strived to be relevant and largely just failed, right? Like I mean, you probably weren't paying that close of attention, but like the early World Series episodes, they did a great job of cultivating these storylines.
Yeah,
because they were 30-minute episodes that they chopped down. Like they were released 8 months after the World Series had already concluded, but it didn't matter because the internet was very slow back then, and we were also far removed that if you weren't in Vegas, you had no idea what the fuck was going on. And this was a way to tap you in. So it was like it was almost like what vlogging kind of usurped it in a way, because it was giving you the information faster and it was more boots on the ground type of stuff. But they were great about it, and like that's why Norman and Lon became the characters that they are, the voices of the World Series. Like they were just doing reads over these segments of basically big hand versus big hand collision that were intertwined with like some sort of story arc.
I love that.
Yeah, but it died.
So smart. That's so smart.
It died with live streaming though. Right, we got to the point where we're like, just hook it to our veins, man. Like we need all fucking 10 hours of every hand that's played, so we can ridicule these people and just say like, I would have never made that mistake over and over and over again. And now all of a sudden, it's to the point where like produced poker is all but dead. I mean, Poker Go releases maybe a dozen produced episodes a year at most. TV poker is like largely dead. So now all of a sudden we have these independent models, so to speak, like started or originated with vloggers, but it's very quickly morphing. Like we can see that that maturation process taking place where people like you and Caitlin are coming in that actually have a background in comedy or acting or the arts, if you will, and you're putting your spin on it. And now it's becoming like almost like sketch comedy intertwined with a podcast, and it's growing to so much more. There's no industry backing.
Yeah,
that's
not yet.
The trouble.
Well, no, it's not the trouble though, Matt, because it's the ground floor. It's so interesting to me because, like, going to the GPI Awards and like the content creators, I love all of them, and I think that their ideas are so good, and like but the videos are like very like similar to the type of content that people were making on YouTube back in like 2012.
Yeah.
And I'm seeing the same trajectory of it starting with the vloggers and then going into like more sketch and that type of thing. It's kind of the same trajectory, and all
You
of
see the
that
vision.
ended up becoming like way more mainstream, where if you go interview 18-year-olds on the street, like they're more familiar with Mr. Beast than they are with some A-list celebrity that just did a blockbuster film. So I think it's really cool that that the poker community is here in the content world, like where there's so much more room to grow, where it got really saturated in like the comedy YouTube world, like I don't think you can't really start a sketch comedy channel. Maybe you can. TikTok kind of took over for the comedy part, like where if people wanted short form sketches, but
You still have some.
it's harder and it's more saturated. It kind of like ran its course. Like I feel like each little genre ran its course. Like I was getting really into in like 2016, 17. I was getting really into like the finance YouTube was blowing up. Like Graham Stephan's channel. Like he was just starting out. Kevin, what's his name? Meet Kevin.
There's actually someone in this community that does like a major finance.
Well, Graham Stephan lives here now, like in Vegas.
Yeah, you might be doxing him, but that's fine.
He did a whole video on how he got his house for free in Vegas. He's very open about like where he lives.
He lives closer than you think.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that whole finance YouTube, when everyone was starting out, they weren't making very much money. Like they were just sharing tips and being passionate about what they knew in their niche. And then all of the ads, because that genre started blowing up, all of the ads were weighted where like those channels, if you were to start a finance channel, you would make way more AdSense and monetize way bigger.
The CPMs were like
the
ridiculous.
ads. Exactly.
Yeah.
The CPMs were way bigger.
Ours are actually really high in poker right now.
Like because
like near $10.
It's niche and it's not like when you're paying for something broad, you don't know who it's going to hit. But when you're paying for something niche, there's a dedicated audience to that. And I think that is really neat. If you're going to start a new channel, I think people make the mistake of thinking like, oh, I want to reach as many people as possible. Well, one, it's hard. Two, when you do, like, be careful what you wish for, because your viral videos are often the demise of a lot of channels because they can't handle the heat. When you get a viral video, you get so much hate. Like there's so many people, because you don't know who it's hitting, and there's so many people that hate you and will like write just the meanest comments, and people aren't wired for that. If you've never had a lot of attention on you and then you get inundated with 500,000 hate comments, it makes you want to hide in a hole forever. And so it's like, it's not like, and you don't make, by the way, you don't make like $100,000 if your video goes viral. Like people think, oh, you had a viral video, like you must be rich now. Like that's not how monetization works at all. And so I think it's way smarter and like more fun to start very niche, build an audience that gets what you're doing, that has fun with you, that has like fun seeing your growth. And then if you have one or two videos pop off, it's fun. But like if you get hate comments, like that's not your audience. Like, and you can really separate that. And I think that people who have never, especially people who have never started a channel before, who have never created content before, don't like kind of get that part, that it's like, it's not just like, oh, bam, you started a channel and you had a video go viral, now you're a millionaire. Like, it's not like that at all. Like, it's long, sustainability, niche, having fun with what you're doing is like way more important.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I think another big opportunity that we may be facing is if you look at the entertainment industry, whether you're talking about at a grand level like blockbuster movies and actors, actresses, etc., or on a more localized level like the YouTube creator space, it's a lot more equitable. You're going to see a lot more female representation there, and a lot more diversity as a whole. This seems like this could be a great bridge for us becoming a lot more equitable of a community, like by those people utilizing that skill set to become someone in this space. Right? Like, you are pretty fresh into your poker career at this point.
Totally.
Like maybe a year and a half.
Oh yeah, almost 2 years.
Okay, so almost 2 years that you've been taking this relatively seriously. But assuming that the Ace Hole Pods blows up, that's forgotten immediately.
Yeah.
Like you're just given your pro card kind of thing, right? And I think that becomes a really positive thing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of downside to it. Like I think Marina Konnikova went through this a bit,
Definitely.
where she wrote this amazing book. She's a fantastic writer. She's world renowned in the thing that she's the best
Yes.
at. And
I love her, by the way.
of course, she's the fucking best.
Yeah.
Literally just the best. But then on top of that, it's like she's a rank amateur at poker and got pretty good pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And because immediately she's someone now in this community, she takes all this backlash of,
Sure.
well, you're not like, as good as people are implying that you are. You're not as good as you think you are. Like
It
everybody
always
has to like knock you down a peg. So don't get me wrong. Like there's obviously the downside to it. But the fact of the matter is she's still a face in this industry. She's still representing, an unrepresented kind of demographic.
Definitely. And actually touching on that point, I think the question that most females, whether you're in comedy or you're in poker or whatever, you're in a male dominated industry, like when you get on a podcast or you get interviewed, like almost with 100% of the time, they're going to ask like, how do you get more women into the space? That's a question that comes up a lot. And I don't really have a direct answer for that other than just being like, just loving what you do. And it attracts, when people see people who are like them doing something that seems fun, it gets them interested without you really having to try. So Maria is a great example because when I read her book, my therapist actually recommended her book to me. This was back in like October 2021. I was just playing cash. I'd never touched a tournament before. And reading her book made me want to try tournaments, especially she did such a great job of like adding the personal. I related to so much of her experiences as a woman and like as not just a woman, but that personality type as a woman where like I've frequently in male dominated spaces and not wanting to be a pushover, but also like having this maybe innate thing that society has done that without me really knowing subconsciously of feeling like I can't be too outspoken because then people will label me and not want to work with me. And then I have to like kind of teeter this line. And she did a really good job of describing what that feels like and also how to balance that. And then her experiences in the tournament world and how she related that to poker. And I related to that part so hard and it made me want to try tournaments. And so like, how do you get more women in the space? Will you like sharing experiences like that, how you overcame it, and like also all the fun parts and then what you learned along the way. And then when you see someone who's similar to you doing something that you are interested in, it makes you like want to do more of it.
Yeah.
And I think it attracts a lot more people and in an approachable way. And so like Caitlin and I aren't making a show to get more women in the space, but maybe that might be an added side factor, something that like comes along with the territory, which is really nice, and I hope that happens too.
Yeah, I think like at a bare minimum, it lowers the barrier of entry.
Yeah,
right. Like it can be such an intimidating, cold space where it's just like, okay, these people don't look like me, they don't think like me, they don't talk like me. I don't really have anybody to relate to, and this game seems pretty hard. Yeah, and it kind of just like flatlines right there.
Sure,
but like if this takes off, and there are a lot of other examples too. I know Camille is that her name?
Camille Brown.
Camille.
Camille.
That wasn't who I was thinking of.
Okay.
Liha.
Wait, what?
Liha. Call me Liha.
No.
Who are you talking
The GG.
Yeah, the Eastern European girl.
Yeah, Liha.
Streams. Is that her name?
Yes.
I thought it started with a C.
The last name is like Miha.
The username is Call Me Liha. But her name is Liha.
Okay. I mean, I trust you because I'm just drawing from memory here.
I know names. All right.
Yeah,
I trust Landon.
I certainly trust you here.
I love how I knew what he was. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, but like, well, basically, if I recalled the backstory to this relatively well, like, she was just like kind of grinding micros. Joey found her, and very quickly thereafter, a stream popped off, and she signed by GG. Like that's a nice sequence of events.
Sure.
Where it's like nothing else really even matters at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like just the ability to grow and learn and get better. And that's true of like all the streamers, right? Like if you even look at somebody as popular as like God damn it. Why am I losing
Kmart?
Yes.
Okay.
God.
You're welcome. Landon and I got you.
Jesus, wow, telepathy. I don't know why I just blanked on his name, but like if you look at Kmart's track or like past track record, it's like he was in the entertainment space to begin with. I think he was on Big Brother Canada, if I recall.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he won Big Brother Canada. Parlays that into like getting interested in poker, right? It's just like a celeb who comes into the space a little bit interested. We've watched him grow over the years as a player, and like that's probably hard for him to kind of like leave it all out there, and unless he just made it fun.
I relate to that, because that's exactly what happened with poker. I started in YouTube and then acting and stuff, and then I got into poker during the pandemic, but it was like more of a place to like hide and like take my mind off everything else.
Yeah.
And then like after the WSOP, there was like a lot of like I was more involved with the community, and there was a lot of interest, and someone was like, you should start or I don't know. My husband wanted me to start a poker vlog, but it was way too hard. I don't like thinking about that while I'm at the table.
Right.
But the streaming, I got some advice from my streamer gamer friend. Shout out to Gina Darling. She helped me set up a stream, and I was like, I think I could probably stream my practice sessions, like which are just like these micro stakes MTTs, and that could be fun because I already like to talk about this stuff. I already like talking about strategies and learning spots. But what was hard was that like I know my skill level. Like it's not like this. I'm not a pro at all by any means. I never claimed to be. I had only at that point been studying MTTs for like 4 months, and I like happened to do very well. But I was still learning a lot of spots. There's still so much to learn, and putting it out there where you're learning and maybe making a lot of mistakes in the public eye is it's hard, but it's also like people want to root for that too. It's like they're seeing you grow, and if someone's going to hate on you for making a terrible spot, well, first of all, everyone in poker thinks everyone sucks. Everyone sucks. Like you could be like so good at poker, and people still are out there saying you fucking suck. I don't know if you know that, Matt.
I've never had such an experience.
So
news to me.
You know, actually, Marley was the one that was telling me, like, because I was telling her I kind of was nervous about like being so new and like, you know, making mistakes in front of people, and she was like, everyone's gonna think you suck anyway, and also you'll get invited to the best games. Like if people think you suck, it's kind of a good thing, because like then they want to invite you to the softer games. And so I'm like, that's true, you know, no matter how good you get, people are always going to think you suck. So why not just make it fun? Like keep it what it was for me in the beginning, which is just like, I have fun learning. Like that's my favorite thing to do, is like be a beginner at something all over again, and like get excited when I have like small improvements and like or big wins that like came out of nowhere. Like it's fun. Like you're not expecting it, but you're rooting for it. I think that's more fun than like it's a different taste like of fun than like I personally do like to watch like people who are extremely good at the game, like in these hard spots, to see how they handle it. But it's not going to be the same at my 2-5 table. Like people are not going to play the same. So I can separate that in my mind, watching something that I'm not a part of, but I can admire, and then something that is like, okay, this person's more on my level, and like, how did they handle that spot? That's why it's so fun to see people like Mariano and like Rampage, who started at like 1-3 3 years ago, and now they're playing in this $1 million game. It's like, that is so much more exciting to root for as a pleb, you know, like someone that's like, oh, that could be me. And you're watching this guy play 1-3, and you're like, oh yeah, I would have done that spot differently, but like whatever, like you're not being a hater. You're just like, I think I would have done that spot differently. And then you're watching him progress and get better. And then he wins like all these tournaments, like huge high roller tournaments. And now like he's not playing 1-3 anymore, but sometimes he does just for fun. But yeah, it's like, it's relatable. And then you're like, I was there for the journey. I was there for this character who's actually a real person, but you know, it's like following someone's storyline, just like you're talking about with those WSOP videos. It's like people will always be interested in stories and people. And so it's fun to be there from the beginning, watching someone's story, than it is to just like get a snapshot at the end of them already successful, already knowing everything, already like not much more room to grow. And I think that's interesting. Personally.
Yeah, the space has changed a lot in the last 10 years, I would say. Like it's very cart in front of the horse now, where you can become somebody before you actually ever establish anything. I mean, there are a lot of people out here beaking that have never done anything in this space, right? And they have a platform to do so because for one reason or another, right? Whether it's just the ability to create content or the ability to be liked and followed by those around them, having some sort of influence, doesn't really matter. Whole point is it's not a meritocracy, right? Like it's very much opportunities will follow your popularity and your influence. So I do think more so now than ever, there's far greater incentive to be able to cultivate a Twitter following of 50,000 people than there is to be able to spit out the relative frequencies that you should be operating through 50,000 sims, right? The latter will obviously make you much better at the game and there will be a bottom line attached to it. But the former will get you so many good opportunities that it can almost like cancel out the fact that you're not capable of playing like a robot.
For sure.
And I wonder how it's going to shape the space moving forward, because we've already had this weird dichotomy between online and live from the beginning till now. Online was always the difficult landscape where you really proved yourself. Like it's where you demonstrated that you were a consummate professional and like could beat any game. Live was always the party, right? And it was always where the most money was available. It was always where the best time was being had. And there was always this weird divide between them. But there's now like this duality where online isn't even really available to a lot of the people interested in the game. When I say a lot, I mean America specifically. And then on top of that, not only is live now the party where there's a lot more money available, but the opportunities, the big thing with online before was volume. You could always just have opportunity because of the volume. But now the opportunities live are just like doubling and tripling and quadrupling, and like a new stream is popping up every single day, and then a new show idea is popping up, and there's other ways to monetize, and brands are being built, and you know there's spats being had and wars being waged off of the fact that like it might generate clicks. And so it's almost like getting to a point where now if you're established and you've proven yourself to be a professional in this industry, you are either going to be Gelfond, who is just untouchable and a bit of a godfather of the space, or everybody else who's ripe for the picking and has someone nipping at your heels in order to kind of like either knock you down a peg or elevate themselves up and create that next opportunity to make sure that you, like, it wasn't like that when we were coming up, right?
Sure.
D-Negs, Antonius, fucking
You can't think of any names today.
No, I can't. I'm
Zero
struggling.
people exist in your
I
mind.
keep wanting to say Magic.
Dwan Ivy.
I keep wanting, Dwan Ivy, Asfendiari, right? Like all these guys, they were the household names and they were established there. There was no knocking them down. They had corporate money behind them, stars, Full Tilt, whatever. Like billion-dollar industries propping these people
what
up.
you are describing is exactly the entertainment industry as well. Like you, before the YouTube really, and even in the beginning phases of YouTube, it was still like not taken seriously. But it was like, you know, the only way to break into this industry is the traditional way. You get a headshot, you get an agent, then you get a demo reel, and you try to break in, and you get in the industry, and you have to be with a top agency and get into like a network TV show or like a blockbuster movie, and you start at this level and then you work your way up, and it was a system that was in place forever, and like you know, A-list celebrities were untouchable. They were the creme de la creme. And then YouTube shifted the game where you know, these content creators started popping up because they wanted to be in the traditional space and got denied the opportunities. And so they're like, you know, we'll just, you know, I still want to, like, I'm a painter and they're not letting me paint, so I'm going to make my own, you know, paintings, and I'll sell them, you know, on this side street, and you know, like, I don't care like what happens, because I'm actually loving what I'm doing. I'm painting. And what happened was they they didn't realize this at the time, but the followings of people amassed this, you know, audience and these eyeballs, and then it grew to the point where like people, all these brands realized that there's like money to be made off of this, because that's all really advertisers pay for is eyeballs to be on their ad. And now not only do you have eyeballs from these people who have amassed this great audience, but you have loyal eyeballs, not just a random ad on a fucking NFL channel that you're like is in the middle of the game and everyone's going for a beer break, but like actual people who are speaking to hundreds of thousands of dedicated listeners and audience. And so all of a sudden there are whole careers made out of YouTube and YouTube channels. And it went from me, because I was in a really weird spot where I was in the traditional world and in the YouTube world at the same time. And it went from my managers telling me to not tell anyone I was on YouTube, even though I had like a 50,000 following, like without like a lot of content. They're like, don't do YouTube, don't tell anyone you're on YouTube, blah, blah, blah. To like a few years later, I'd be in an audition and they're like, what's your social media following? How many numbers do you have? The shift happened so fast. And then it got to where like YouTubers were being offered roles in these traditional films and movies and TV shows over people who had been acting their whole lives, who have the top agencies trying to vouch for them, but they don't have any credits under their name. So they're like, it didn't matter how you got in anymore. There's a back door. And that's kind of what you're talking about with this industry, is like there's all these back doors that opened. It's not just the traditional path anymore where you need to be sponsored by a big poker site. And what's surprising, well, not surprising, but what's interesting to me is that the poker brands specifically are kind of in the Stone Age, just now catching up to how they can work with the content space in a way that they just haven't done it before.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, Kmart did go on Big Brother as a professional poker player.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Did John Party, did he do poker after Big Brother?
I think he was a hockey player going into...
Yeah, because he's now known for poker too. Like he's an ACR pro, he's a streamer.
It's kind of why all of like the A-list celebrities of today are the YouTubers and the content creators, is because they're so accessible.
Exactly.
And you just always have eyeballs on them. Where before, the only time you ever got eyeballs were from A-list celebrities on movies. And you're very excited to see movies, but now the content creators are making their own movies every day.
I think also they're probably a lot cheaper, like just on the aggregate.
Well, yeah, you get the A-list celebrities and they're getting paid $50 million a film.
Right. If you're comparing like a Tom Cruise to someone that's an influencer that's not Jake Paul, like Jake Paul's like literally one of one, but whatever the next tier down from Jake Paul is, it's like
Logan Paul.
Sure. Sure. But like, I mean, I think that on the aggregate, if you're pulling talent from YouTube, not only do you have a much vaster pool to choose from, but like they're going to be willing to work for, entry level.
Well, that's interesting too, because like a lot of them don't even want to do that anymore. Like it used to be like, oh, I'm doing YouTube to build my name so that I could eventually go do TV or movies, but
become an actor.
But TV and movie, like the audience has shifted towards digital. So like a lot of them don't even want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
they're like,
why am I going to TV when I could just be on
I'm
here
making
and have
way more
millions
money.
of-
I don't have to put pants on. I'm in my fucking living room, or my bedroom.
exactly.
I don't even have to leave my house. Why would I go to a set where I have to be on set for 12 hours in a trailer? It's fucking cold, and I don't even like everyone treats you like you're just an object.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather,
You see that with like independent news on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like a lot of people like they just would, maybe they started like a news channel to hope to get on like CNN or something like that, and now they're just like, I'm gonna do my own thing, be independent. I can report how I want to report.
Exactly, because you have to censor yourself to however they want you to say things, and if the money ends up being the same, like you're making just as much money or more on your thing that you own, that you can express yourself however you want, than a thing where you have to work for someone and you're just being a paid talking head.
Right.
Like, why would you ever choose this one?
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of being pantless and in the living room,
Great
What a segue.
sorry, we have 12 missed calls from Kessler on Zoom. Do you want me to keep him on ice, or what do you want to do?
Can you tell him I'm his biggest fan?
Will do.
I think he knows at this point, and I think I can pretty confidently say I think you're going to regret saying that.
No, I want to do I want to do many videos with you guys.
I promise you,
Chainsaw.
Kessler's in. Brent Hanks did a way back. Man, talk about being ahead of our time. It was our first year living out here, so it must have been like 2008. He got put into this weird lock poker contest, and they sent him like this tiny little digital video camera that had a USB hookup to it that you like literally just plugged into the computer and uploaded. And he took this video of him pretending to be Alan Kessler. He's wearing an LAPC leather jacket that you get for final tabling, and he's just like wearing this with Chainsaw used to have T-shirts.
Can I have one?
Back when
Yes.
back when
I want
Poker Road was a thing, they had the Chainsaw shirt.
Yeah.
It was just this. It was this like baby food yellow
yeah.
tee with Kessler's face on it. Just said Chainsaw.
Yep.
He wore shirts of
Amazing.
himself.
I
Yeah,
don't
why would
know.
you
If I had to guess, probably.
I'm starting to get a nice little collection of tortoise shirts.
They don't say Brian
Well,
LeMan
they don't
on
have your
them.
face on them.
Well, they have a tortoise face.
Certainly not the same.
Not the
A
same.
little different, maybe a little different. But hey, you
A
know,
lot of different.
Have you thought of having a tortoise with your face on it?
No, please, God.
I'd wear it.
I don't know. No, because then I'm gonna look like
Somebody
You know
get
how,
that
like-
AI bot fired
yeah,
up.
like
ChatGPT
the
bot.
Daily Show used to do with Mitch McConnell, where they put his face on the turtle because they.
He really looked like a turtle,
He
man.
does, yeah.
Yeah, he really looks like a turtle.
I don't want that. I don't want it to be.
Well,
in the
guess
same
what? It's
realm of
being
that.
created right now.
Oh, son
Yeah.
of a-
What was the AI app? I can't remember. I have it.
What?
Lensa.
Lensa,
Lensa.
yeah.
Mhm.
Somebody get Lensa, Brian LaManna, and a tortoise.
Oh man,
merge it
Here we
together.
go.
It's
Oh
the
yeah,
shirt. But it's not baby food yellow. I like
that was
was
a
not.
different one. He
I
must
like
have
the red one.
branched out to have yeah.
More than one.
The original one. I mean, you have like the vintage original
Yeah.
one. That
I
was
heard
the
it's going
yellow
for a
one.
lot. If you
Yeah,
can get
I'm
it
sure.
in mint condition with the tag still on.
Brent probably has like 12 at his house.
I wouldn't doubt it. God, I wouldn't doubt it. This space, man. It's been a wild fucking ride. I can't wait to get off.
Man,
You say that. I retired last year, and it's you just
They just
you
pull you
can't
back in.
take it out of the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do love this fucking game. I hate the community,
Exactly.
but I love the game.
But you love hate them like a family,
love
like
hate
a
them, yeah.
dysfunctional family.
No, yeah,
you will
you're right.
stay here.
No, you're right. They're like the little brother I never wanted.
did
Yeah.
Nikki? Did she broaden your expectations of the whole poker space and what's to come?
I think yeah, I think she's more optimistic. I think we're on a
She's
similar
very
page, and
optimistic,
she's very
yeah.
optimistic,
She's
which
a
I
dreamer,
appreciate.
if you will.
She is a dream.
Yeah, she is a
Hey,
dreamer. What a
speaking
great
of-
job, Landon. For those of you who've been paying attention, Above the Felt Entertainment is going to be dropping a documentary today at, I believe, 4 p.m. It's called Dreamers, and it follows basically the entire Above the Felt team throughout the WPT Championship, as well as Ethan Rampage Poker, who ended up shipping the 25K high roller. So be sure to tune into that. It'll actually kick you right to the page after this, so you can go ahead and click that notification to be reminded whenever it goes live. That's it for us. We have an academy this weekend.
We do. It starts tomorrow.
You
I'm
have a match
excited.
this weekend.
I have a match this weekend.
Match.
We're playing only on Sunday. Nikki, you're gonna be joining us for the academy.
Yeah, I'm excited. I didn't know it was this weekend. I'm like so pumped. I'm clearing my schedule.
She's pumped. She's here.
I am. Can I vlog it?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
No,
I won't.
please.
I won't vlog it. But
No, you actually
Yeah?
you'd be doing us a
I'll vlog-
service.
I'll
You're
vlog
all
a
You're
good.
allowed to
snippet
come
of
unless
it.
you vlog it.
Okay.
You're an
Done.
auditing
Sold.
vlogger.
Yeah, that's actually the stipulation now.
Okay.
We
You're
are,
an odd vlogger.
we are gonna have a few people from different entities coming and auditing it, so hopefully that'll all come out sooner than later. But that's gonna switch the time for us next week. Monday and Tuesday we do still have the academy, so I think we're gonna do 7 p.m. Live, maybe closer to
Probably
8. Yeah,
yeah.
probably
Late
closer to 8
night.
The
p.m.
academy doesn't end till 7.
Yeah.
I don't think we can go
That's
immediately
true.
live.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so look for the
Probably
late
8.
night podcast next Monday and Tuesday. I promise you we will be very out of line. Thank you guys as always for joining us. We'll be back with some updates and all the things poker drama on Monday. We'll see you guys then.
Later, squad.
Peace.